Contact a Family is a UK charity providing information and support to families with disabled children, whatever their disability. This podcast is an account of a mother's experience of having a disabled child.
Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm married and I have 3 children. It's my middle child, Oliver, who's affected with Gorlin syndrome. Oliver's 15.
So how did you first find out that Oliver might have some extra needs?
It was when I was 13 weeks pregnant and the blood test results came back that the alpha-fetoprotein level was too high and it indicated there was a problem. Early tests pointed to spina bifida, but luckily by the time Oliver was born this wasn't the case. He was born with a cleft lip and fluid on the brain. I was a bit anxious about what would be wrong with him, but I was confident that I'd be able to cope.
And what's been the most difficult time for you since Oliver was born?
It's very difficult when he has to go into hospital. He's recently had his 17th operation and it doesn't get any easier seeing him be put to sleep. Especially as he gets older, he's more aware of what's going on, so he's very nervous about operations. Also, he's had to deal with bullying at school because people see him as being different.
So could you tell me a little bit more about the operations that Oliver's had?
He had his first operation at 2 weeks old. It was an inguinal hernia. 3 weeks later he had another one. 4 months old he had his cleft lip repaired. At 9 months he had another hernia, something that I was told could never happen and I must be a neurotic mother. But on further investigations it turned out he had got a third hernia. He's had lots of other operations to remove basal cell carcinomas, the skin cancers, and jaw cysts, growths in his jawbone, and just several other minor complaints as well.
Could you describe Oliver's condition for me?
Yeah, Gorlin syndrome, the main characteristics are jaw cysts, basal cell carcinomas, pits in the palms of the hands and soles of the feet. These are more apparent when he's been in the bath. They're the main characteristic.
And how did it feel when you were first told about Oliver's condition?
I think when you're told your child's going to get cancer, it just blew our world apart. I was devastated. Although we were told skin cancer is probably one of the best cancers to get, if you can call it that, we were absolutely devastated. We couldn't believe our little boy would have to go through so much.
And how did the doctors tell you that Oliver might develop?
They couldn't give too much of a long-term prognosis because things are changing medically all the time. We just hope that in the future that Gorlin syndrome can be cured. There's lots of research going on at the moment, but we were told he'd need regular checkups to check his skin for new cancers and to check his jaw. So he sees specialists at different hospitals every 2 or 3 months.
And what are the things that have changed mostly as a result of Oliver's condition?
I think we're all a lot more understanding. It's made us all different people. I think we get things into perspective, not to worry about trivial things. Oliver copes very well though. He's been through much more than most people would in a lifetime, but he demonstrates a great strength to get him through.
What sorts of things does Oliver like to do?
He's got lots of hobbies. His main passion is football. He loves to watch our local team whenever they play. He likes to go fishing with his granddad at weekends. We've started taking him to a boxing club because we believe that the Keep Fit regime there will do him good and build him up a little bit.
Can you describe a typical day for me?
Our daily routine has got a lot easier now Oliver is older and able to do more for himself, so it's not much different for Oliver than it is for my other children now, other than when we have to put the chemotherapy cream on. We have to do that twice a day and it can be quite upsetting for Oliver because it can be quite painful. But other than that, he copes very well.
So what would you say is the most challenging day-to-day task that you and Oliver face now?
The worst thing for Oliver is the bullying at school. He's experienced a lot all the way through high school, resulting in us having to take him out for a week last year while school sorted out a gang of bullies. You know, he has so much to cope with as it is. They see him as being weak, but he's actually a lot stronger than they are. It's just really sad that when he looks back on his school days, he doesn't look back happily at them. He sees it as he can't wait till he leaves, and he doesn't like it how people can't just accept him for who he is, because once they do get to know him, they realise what a lovely boy he is, and they all feel really protective of him.
So what type of support have you found that you've needed?
When our geneticist first diagnosed Oliver at the age of 4 with Gorlin syndrome, he gave us a sheet with some contact details on for the Gorlin syndrome support group. I rang and spoke to the group leader. His help has proved invaluable. I don't know where we'd be now if we hadn't met him. We meet up with the group yearly, but it's nice knowing there's always someone at the end of the phone who will help us, and there's lots of people going through the same things as we are.
And what type of information is available about Oliver's condition?
Well, unfortunately, many doctors haven't heard of Gorlin syndrome because it's quite rare, but the Gorlin syndrome support group published a leaflet to hand out to hospital outpatient clinics, and also the BBC made a documentary called Bitter Inheritance a few years ago about Gorlin syndrome, so this has proved invaluable in making people more aware of the syndrome.
What advice would you give to other parents, Sonia?
You don't need to feel alone, like I did when Oliver was first diagnosed and I could be wandering around the shops and just suddenly want to cry. But, there's lots of people out there all going through the same thing, and it's really good to meet up, to be able to talk through your worries, and things don't seem as bad then.
What does the future hold for Oliver?
We hope Oliver will live a long and happy life. Oliver's got a passion for food, and he thinks that when he leaves school he'd like to go and do a course at college to become a chef.
And what about for you as a family?
We're a very close family, and we just want to carry on how we are doing. We support each other.
The Contact a Family helpline can provide information and support on many of the points raised in this podcast. The advisors on our free phone helpline can assist with issues around benefit entitlement, navigating the NHS, and issues around education. We can also locate local and national support groups, provide medical information, and link parents whose children have rare disorders. In addition, we produce a wide range of publications. For further information, visit our website at www.cafamily.org.uk or call our free phone helpline on 0808 808 3555. For video interviews with parents, visit our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/CAFamily. This recording was made in August 2009. The views expressed in this podcast are for information purposes only. The material is in no way intended to replace professional medical care or attention by a qualified practitioner. Condition symptoms may vary in type or severity amongst individuals. This podcast is to demonstrate the personal views and experience of this family only. For approved medical information about this condition, see the Contact a Family website at www.cafamily.org.uk or contact your doctor.